I have exhibited 7 years at the fair, and I probably did more exhibiting after I retired than before. So I guess I'm a late bloomer in that regard. So what gets me the most excited about joining at the fair is it seems like the one item that you enter into the fair, you think, well, that's a waste of time. You know, nobody's going to think that's neat, or there's always going to be somebody that has something better than you, and that's okay too. But it's usually the thing that you least expect, you get the biggest reward from, and it's like you can't figure it out. You know, you just need to enter the stuff and find out how you did. And the other part of it is learning from the judges. I usually do try to be there at least during some of the time of the judging. And if you have a problem with what you're making, or what you exhibited, you can usually ask the question of the judge, and they are there to help you out. They are not there to criticize or anything else. You know, it's a learning experience. So I think the more you go and you listen to the judges, the more you learn about how you could make your products better. What I like to show at the fair is, I would have to say at the beginning I did antiques. And the reason I did antiques was, of course, my parents moved and they're getting rid of their stuff. And I was the oldest daughter, so guess who got it? And my mom would tell me the stories of the different things and this and that. And as a daughter, you question whether or not what they're saying is 100% accurate, and all you got to do is bring it to the Jackson County Fair, and the fair judge will tell you if your mom was telling the truth or not, you know. So I got into it with antiques. Then I kind of got bigger than that. I got involved with being the superintendent. So I am the superintendent of home furnishings. So I have some of my quilts that I have done. This was the one I was the most surprised at. I actually got outstanding on this one. So that's part of the excitement too, is getting your first blue ribbon, getting an outstanding that you didn't expect. Then these are kind of some of my antiques, and I have done food preservation. And I don't do anything fancy. I buy the box of peaches up at the corner when they sell them in town here, and I really like peaches, so I eat some and preserve the rest. I got my husband involved in doing tomatoes, so we do tomatoes, and I love beets, and I did a lot of jellies and jams. I like to do cookies, and I'm kind of selfish as far as why I like to do cookies, because I think they're the easiest. You can make up your doughs ahead of time, keep them in the refrigerator, and then the day before the fair, when things are a little hectic, all I got to do is make a pan of cookies, and if I get 3 good ones, then I'm done, and I just do another batch of cookies. Memories exhibiting. being there for the judging of the Antiques. Antiques Roadshow all day long, because he is very good at what he does. He knows his stuff, and if you don't know what the item is or what it's made of, he does. You learn something all the time, and I've enjoyed him. One thing is, everybody learns from everybody else. You know, I didn't know what white glass was, you know, besides the color. Is there any other significance with it? You know, and you don't have to wait to talk to the judge about that. You know, there are other people that are there that can say that. The Mary, who's the one that's the superintendent for antiques, if you even put it in the wrong category, she will work with you to put it in the right category. Why would I encourage others? Well, I'm going to answer that with, what kind of fair would we have if nobody exhibited? It would be horrible, you know. So I think if we want to have a good fair, we want to have a fair that people want to come to, we have to, as Jackson County, need to bring things to the fair. Jackson County Fair means to me probably the one time of the year that I get to see some of these people. You know, we all get busy in our lives, and that's the time when, yes, it can be hectic to be at the fair, don't get me wrong, when you're doing judging and things like that, but there also is some free time to be able to talk to some people about, you know, what have they been doing this year, and things like that. And the fair seems to bring people out, you know, for whatever reason. The highest ribbon I got was, of course, everybody's going for the blue. In fact, the first time I got a ribbon, I was with my daughter, and I thought red was the highest. And I had a blue ribbon, and I was like, oh, and my daughter looked at me and goes, Mom, that's the best. Duh. But I did get an outstanding on this quilt, and that was just this last year. So I've been doing it for 7 years and finally got an outstanding. Well, the first thing I would say, if someone came to me and they were considering entering anything in the fair, is they need to get a fair book. If you're not a paper kind of person like me, you do have a website with all that same information on it. If you're only interested in one category, maybe photography is a big category here. Maybe you just need to print off the photography part. But if you compete in more than one area, you might want to get a book. I have had, as superintendent, people call me quite a bit at home and ask questions. Which category would you put this in? And things like that. So I haven't talked to a superintendent that isn't willing to answer a question regardless of when you call. Underneath each category, the superintendent is listed right under there with a phone number. And then as a last resort, everything's always on the website, and there's people at the fair board that will help. If I have a question, I go to the fair board members, and if they don't know it, they find out who does know it. There shouldn't be any reason that somebody doesn't bring things in and make the Jackson County Fair the best fair we can have every year.